If you're making mint juleps for the Kentucky Derby, you do not want to miss this amazing time-saving batching hack. Today, we're going to make 17 mint juleps using 2 bottles of Cheeky Cocktails mint syrup, 1 full liter of bourbon whiskey, a batching container, some cups, some fresh mint, and some crushed ice. In the case of cocktails like the mint julep, where there's a lot of leaves to be plucked, you need to focus more on preparation to set yourself up for success than necessarily the execution during the evening itself. What I want to do is separate all of the extra bottom leaves on every single one of these mint sprigs. I'm going to pull these bottom leaves, put them in this bowl, and then retain the top sprig, and this is going to be the garnish. Now that I plucked my mint leaves, I'm going to add some of my crushed ice over the mint to keep it chilled. So mint actually does not love being placed in water like flowers. It wilts very easily that way, but this way it stays nice and beautiful and bright and fresh. Normally when I'm muddling mint for a julep or for a mojito, normally you're just going to pull from these individual leaves and you'll muddle. The recipe that we're using today, you don't have to muddle, but you can if you want it for aesthetic purposes. So every time you make a large batch cocktail, I always recommend that you make a small version first to taste what it tastes like, make sure it tastes to your liking before you commit to making a huge version of it. And I'm going to do a ½ ounce pour. Just so you know, what Cheeky mint syrup is made of is literally piles of fresh mint, cane sugar, and water. Nothing artificial, no preservatives. It is a really bright, clean, fresh flavor of mint. So now I'm going to take 2 ounces of the bourbon, and then I'm going to add some crushed ice. So crushed ice gets watery super quickly. So you either want to have it in a strainer inside another bowl, or do something like this, where I'm using my julep strainer to actually pull out the crushed ice. At this point, you want to stir, and then we're going to add some more crushed ice on top. We're going to take some of our mint sprigs here, and you want to get a nice bunch so it looks nice and perky. And then I'm going to pull my fingers really tight to the top so it's a nice tight bunch. Pinch off any excessive bottoms here, slip it in. So I flipped it, now the leaves are in my palm, and I'm just going to slip it into the drink. So you see the sprig is nice and perky and popping out next to the cocktail. So this is what a finished one looks like. We're gonna now do the batch version, and I'm gonna show you how easy it is to do this on repeat. When I use the full liter of bourbon and the 2 bottles of Cheeky mint syrup, the ratios come out the same as when we made that small version. So it's going to come out to about 2 ounces of bourbon and then about ½ ounce of Cheeky mint syrup per cocktail. We will just add the full bottle of bourbon here. Then we will add both bottles of Cheeky mint. Now we just need to give it a quick stir. It's just to incorporate the mint syrup and the bourbon. I'm just going to eyeball the pour. I'm going to say we're doing about 2½ ounces. And then the other thing is, as I mentioned, since the mint syrup is already incorporated in the batch, we don't have to incorporate more mint flavor, but just from a visual perspective, it might be fun to just put some of these leaves in the base of the glass as we would do if we were muddling. And again, you can choose to muddle it should you be interested in doing so. Great. So I'm going to add my crushed ice. This can get a little messy. So now that we have all the crushed ice in all the cups, we're going to move on to the mint sprigs. I'm going to garnish each one with a beautiful bouquet of mint. I'm just giving it a little slap to bring out some of the aroma. There's no doubt about it, making mint juleps, even batching them, it's more labor intensive than a lot of other cocktails. But it makes a very labor intensive cocktail a lot less labor intensive. So those are the best tips that we have for you to batch these delicious mint juleps for the Derby, and we hope you enjoy. Cheers!